Allah Almighty is the all-seeing. Learning objectives. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my friends. How are you? It's great to see you again. Today our lesson will be about one of the beautiful names of Allah Almighty, which is the all-seeing. Are you ready? Wonderful. Let's begin. Today we will also go over Allah's beautiful name, the all-hearing. This means that Allah Almighty hears everything in the world, whether it is quiet or loud. The name of Allah, the All-Hearing, appears in the Holy Quran in many verses. Allah the Almighty says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Indeed, Allah has heard the argument of the woman who pleaded with you, O Prophet, concerning her husband, and appealed to Allah. Allah has heard your exchange. Surely Allah is all-hearing, all-seeing. This means that Allah Almighty hears everything in the world, whether it is quiet or loud. And He rewards them for it with the best of rewards. Allah Almighty also says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. When my servants ask you, O Prophet, about me, I am truly near. I respond to one's prayer when they call upon me. So let me respond with obedience to me and believe in me. Perhaps they will be guided to the right way. The meaning of the noble verse is that Allah Almighty is near, all-hearing and all-knowing of the conditions of His servants. He responds to their supplications and rewards them for their faith in Him. We have also learned that Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, said, Allah has 99 names, 100 less one, and he who memorized them all by heart will enter paradise. To count something means to know it by heart. The meaning of the noble hadith is that whoever learns all of Allah's beautiful names, learns their meanings, and makes dua with them, meaning that he calls upon Allah Almighty with his name, or the Most Merciful, or the All-Hearing. Then they will enter paradise, which He has prepared for the righteous servants. For that reason, we will learn together today about another one of the beautiful names of Allah, and that is the All-Seeing. So let's begin. Now, which of you can tell me about the noble Quranic verses in which the name of Allah, the All-Seeing, is mentioned? Wonderful. The name of Allah, the All-Seeing, appears in the Holy Quran in many verses. Allah the Almighty says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and Allah is all-seeing of His servants. Allah Almighty says in Surah Al-Hadid, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and He is with you wherever you are, for Allah is all-seeing of what you do. Allah the Almighty also says in Surah Al-Mulk, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, none holds them up except the most compassionate. Indeed, He is all-seeing of everything. The noble verses mean that Allah Almighty is all-seeing of what people do. It informs us that Allah is all-seeing of what people do, and nothing of their deeds is hidden from Him. So He rewards them for their deeds, or punishes them for their deeds. Also, among the meanings of His noble saying is Allah is all-seeing of what you do. Indeed, Allah Almighty is knowledgeable about who deserves guidance among His servants. And those He will guide will end up in paradise that Allah Almighty has prepared for His righteous servants. And Allah Almighty is also knowledgeable about who deserves misguidance among His servants. And those will end up in the blazing hellfire that Allah Almighty has prepared for His obedient servants. We can learn valuable lessons by studying the beautiful names of Allah Almighty. Here are 6 of the most important points from our lesson today. Allah's awareness. Allah Almighty is called the All-Seeing because He sees everything, even things we may not notice. This reminds us that we should always try to do what is right because Allah is aware of our actions. Listening carefully. Allah Almighty is known as the All-Hearing because He hears everything, including our prayers and thoughts. This teaches us to speak to Him with sincerity and that He listens to our concerns. Being watchful. Just like Allah Almighty sees everything, we should also try to be watchful of our actions and words. Being aware of our behavior can help us be better people. Being honest. Since Allah Almighty knows everything, it's important to be truthful. We should always tell the truth, as lying goes against the teachings of Allah. Praying with faith. Knowing that Allah Almighty is all-hearing should encourage us to pray with faith and trust in His wisdom. We can share our hopes, fears, and wishes in our prayers knowing that He is listening. Compassion and kindness. Allah's names remind us to be compassionate and kind to others. Just as He sees us and hears us, we should also pay attention to the needs of those around us and lend a helping hand when needed. These lessons remind us of Allah's attributes and how we can strive to be better individuals by following His guidance and being mindful of our actions and words. Now, which of you can tell me what we have learned from our lesson today? Well done, my dear students. I'm proud of you. Today we learned that Allah Almighty has 99 names. Whoever memorizes them, understands their meanings, and makes dua with them will enter paradise. We learned from our previous lesson that among the beautiful names of Allah Almighty is all-hearing, and its meaning is that He hears everything in the universe, whether it is apparent or hidden. And we learned from our previous lesson that the meaning of Allah's name, the all-hearing, refers to the one who hears the prayers of His servants. In return, He rewards them with the best of rewards for their prayers and answers them gloriously. Next, we learned that among the beautiful names of Allah is the all-seeing, which means that He sees what people do. Nothing is hidden from Him. We've also learned that one of the meanings of the name of Allah, the all-seeing, is that Allah Almighty knows who among His servants deserves heaven and who deserves misguidance and hellfire. Finally, we learned that Allah Almighty is beyond questioning for His actions, while all His creatures will be held accountable and will be questioned. We have come to the end of our lesson today, my friends. Goodbye for now. I will see you in the next lesson.